Hello Sagittarius, Archie Dunlop here with your horoscope for the weekend of January the 13th and 14th, 2024. Now, Mercury is moving out of your star sign this weekend, and I think that is important. It does mean that you're aware that your social scene has changed. Um, things are not the same anymore. Maybe that is because someone's gone, and you perhaps realise that someone has left the scene, um, and that means it's going to be a bit of a reconfiguration. So do bear that in mind. And from a relationship perspective, Mercury does rule Gemini, which is the opposite sign to Sagittarius. So Mercury does have in your case a special relationship to partners, and so Mercury moving from Sagittarius into Capricorn may mean that partners are changing in some way. Even if you've been around with the same person for years and years and years, they are still capable of change. And I think over the weekend you might start to see that change. Maybe partners are going to slow down. Perhaps they won't have so many things to say, and they may become more serious. Perhaps there are matters that they feel they need to contemplate, and that they'll need peace and quiet, and that's something you need to respect, because everyone is an individual. Everyone has their particular way of dealing with the world, and um, you know, people have their own cycles, and sometimes people need peace and quiet, and they need time to understand what's going on. Um, and that understanding is emotional as well as intellectual and mental. So respect is very important there, and you should not make assumptions that someone is prepared to carry on doing what they were doing in the past, because, as I said, things have changed. People are becoming more serious, and you want to accept that, because if you don't accept that, you'll be left behind. And perhaps the underlying message there is that you yourself need to change. In some small way, you may be a little bit stuck in the past, and so you need to move your operations forward and accept that you yourself may need to slow down a bit. Having said that, Sagittarius, I think this weekend you are actually quite charismatic. Reason being that you have a certain gravitas to you, which people are going to find quite compelling. There is an underlying seriousness there. You might not want to have an underlying seriousness, but it's there. And this seriousness, although it's kind of attractive, it may be at the same time somewhat worrying. Perhaps you're dwelling on certain things which are maybe unfortunate, perhaps connected with decay and destruction and things going into decline. You can see it. I'm not saying you can necessarily see it in yourself or in the people around you, but perhaps it's in the world, the world at large. And a terrible thing to say, but you do have a capacity this weekend to benefit from other people's misfortune. It's not your fault that people have a misfortune, but somehow you can benefit from it. So you have to ask yourself whether that's the right thing to do. I mean, I don't think it's a question of right or wrong. I just think it's perhaps just the way it is. But I don't think you should feel guilty about it. And maybe it's a situation this weekend where it's a bit zero sum. By zero sum, I mean one person gains, another person loses. So do consider that, Sagittarius. Still, I think that by the end of a weekend, by Sunday, I'm not convinced that you're really going to be in the mood for spending too much time with other people. You're going to be, I think you're going to be more focused on your own interests and, your own core security goals, relating to yourself and your family. I think that is going to be important to you by the end of a weekend. Overall, I think most of the action this weekend is probably going to be on Saturday rather than Sunday. Okay, Sagittarius, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you again very soon.